Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alfonso Jones, and I just want to say, first of all, thank you for taking a look at what you're about to take a look at today. This is something that's very important because one of the things I've always learned, okay, and one of the things that got you excited about taking a look at this video is the wealth builders, basically product that is just changing so many lives and allowing people to earn a high APR, right? With their deposit. So most people put their money in different places, whether it be banks, whether it be mutual funds, whether it be 401ks. In order to, you put your money in these places. Why, ladies and gentlemen? So you can get a return, okay? A return on your money, so you can save your money, quote unquote, and get a return on it. And I had to first talk about that before I say one of the things I've always learned is it's not only how much you make, right? It's about how much you keep because you can make a ton of money and just lose it all to taxes and other things. And then, I mean, you can make $10 million a year, but if you only keep, 20,000 a year, right? You're not very wealthy, are you? So it's not just about how much you make; it's also about how much you keep. But the caveat to that, or the other part to that, right, is it's almost it's also what you do with what you make, right? What you do with the money that you make. And I always am a firm believer, as Grant Cardone likes to say, having my money have babies, right? Have my money make me money. And that's a very, very important thing that I think we all should be considering as if you're in your, especially if you're in your 20s or your 30s, but if you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s, it's even more essential for you to make sure that your money is in places that's going to make you the most amount of money the fastest because, one of the things we know that's inevitable is taxes and death. Unfortunately, that's just a reality. We all are going to die at some point in time. So as you get in your older years, as you get in your 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s, you want to make sure because by the time you're in your mid to upper 60s or 70s, you're in your retirement. But before that, we want to make sure that you're in a place where you're making the most for your money at that point in time. You get the most bang for your buck. Okay. So I'm going to actually be looking at my phone because I got some notes here about just some things that I looked up stats on. I just really wanted to understand the arena for, like, for example, savings account. The average household amount of savings is 175,000. Now you might think, wow, the average person has 175,000 in savings. No, they don't. That was actually an average based on some people that had none, and then some people that had maybe 200,000, maybe a million in savings, maybe more, right? Those Uber savers, right? The actual median, which is more of a reality of what the average household has, is about a little over $10,000, or excuse me, a little over $11,000, just under $12,000. So let's call it $12,000, right? Let's be generous. So $12,000 is the average amount of savings that people have. Now, where is this savings sitting? For most people, it's sitting in their savings account or their checking account, right? And one of the things that I had to research and I had to understand was what is the average APR? What is the average annual percentage return rate, percentage rate that you're going to get on your money on a yearly basis? And when I kind of researched that, I found out that the average, right, the average interest rate on savings accounts is currently at, check this out, 0.09%. Let me say that again. The average savings on the savings account is 0.09%. So less than 1% APR, right? So for both average and jumbo deposits. Now, average deposits could be 1,000, could be 5,000, 20,000. A jumbo deposit is considered $100,000 or more. Is a jumbo deposit. So even for a jumbo deposit, if you're depositing a couple 100,000, you're still only getting 1%, and maybe, right? There's a couple other places that they say offer higher interest rates. So, for example, online banks average is 1.9%, a little bit better, right? Definitely better than that 0.09%. And also some banks that where you kind of combine the checking with the savings, 1.0% is around the average there. So we're looking at top end 2%, right? Being generous, 2% is your high interest rate. So you might say, well, Alfonso, I don't have it in savings, or I have some in savings, but most of it's in a mutual fund. Well, that's great, right? But mutual funds have, if you don't believe me, check out a book. Actually, we'll tell you the name of that book. Actually, I have it in my phone. But he talks about the fees that are associated with mutual funds and how exponentially, right, the compounding effect that your account could have had, right, and as far as your mutual fund or even as far as your 401k is not as much as it could be because of the fees that you're continuing to pay for your administrator for your mutual funds or your 401k. Things that people don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. So check this out. The average mutual fund gives you 8 to 10% annualized return. So let's say we're generous. On a high year, you get 12%, but on average, 8 to 12% return. Not bad, right? So 10% return. If it has 100,000 in there on the year, it's going to give you about 10,000. 8 to 10,000. Not bad at all, right? And bond mutual funds are a little bit less, 45%. So 401ks. Now, the average 401k gives you the annual return of 5 to 8%. Okay, so $100,000 in the 401k plan, right, gives you about $5,000 to $8,000 return. Okay, so again, it's a little bit less than a mutual fund. A mutual fund tends to have a little bit more aggressive, depending on what you choose. You can choose non-aggressive, right, but tends to have a little bit more aggressive returns because it's doing a little bit more aggressive stuff. You have different portfolios that you have within your mutual fund. And I know the old portfolio provider that I had, mutual fund provider I had, you could choose if you wanted to be aggressive, or you could choose if you wanted to be a little bit more passive, a little bit more safe with your investment. But nevertheless, even for example, ladies and gentlemen, here's another one that I didn't even put here, but I know well, is IULs. So IULs, the great thing about those is you put money in them. Now they have a ceiling. So once your IUL account balance hits, for example, 100,000, it can't go below that. So if the market shoots way down, you still have 100,000. If your account goes up to 105, your account will always have 105. Now the great thing about that is you don't lose money in that aspect. But the bad part is you're capped. You have a window, a span of percentage rates that you can earn. It has a minimum percentage rate all the way up to a maximum. And so you're capped off. Even if that IUL makes 50%, you're probably capped at, I think on average is what, 12% maybe. Maybe there's some that are a little bit higher, but on average 12%. And so you're, again, capped on your money. So I just wanted to kind of go over in the beginning of this. I'm only going to, hopefully this video will only be about 15 minutes. But the biggest thing about this is that there's a lot of caps as far as the percentage rate. And if the cap is high, if it was 30%, I would say, oh, okay. Hey, there's a cap, but I get it. But when you're dealing with 1%, 2%, 5 to 10% if you're lucky as far as savings, right? And most people have their money in savings. Or a mutual fund, 8 to 10%, which sounds like a lot when you compare it to 1 or 2%, right? But it's really not that much. And then you have 401k. When on top of that, you're still paying those fees, you're at about, what did I say, 5 to 8% on a 401k. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's very important, like I said, not only how much you make, but how much you keep. But not only how much you keep, but what you're doing with what you keep. And a very significant thing that you need to be doing with your money is making sure you're putting it in the right places. So that's why you're watching this video, ladies and gentlemen, so I can share with you something that is absolutely positively changing the game. And that is a wealth builder account with the company that I'm associated with, right? That allows you to have high APR rates, and I'm talking about 20 to 30% APR on your money. The money's put in that is deposited in an FDIC insured account, and you're making 20 to 30% APR year after year after year after year, compounded monthly, by the way, on your money. This company's been around since 2009, has been helping different companies as far as their money, helping different companies with their AI that they have. In case you're not familiar with that, that's artificial intelligence. With their AI capabilities that they have, they've been helping companies with marketing. They've been helping companies with investing, helping companies with just a complete array of things. So it's a definitely sustainable company out of Nevada that is just changing the game for people as far as investing. So recently, within the last, I think, year, massively in the year as far as this 20 to 30%, they offered the Wealth Builders package that allows you for one-time deposits from 20, and if you do 500,000 and above, up to 30%. If you do 5,000 and above. So think about it. You have $100,000 account at the end of the year. If you have that 100,000, you're gonna have 120,000 and some change because it's compounded on a monthly basis. So imagine what you used to have. You had 100,000 sitting in a mutual fund. You'll have 110,000, maybe 11,000 at most. If you have it sitting in a savings account, you're gonna have 100,000 and 102,000 at most. If you have it sitting in something else, you're going to have, those low interest rates. But with this account, you're going to have 120,000, for example, based upon your deposit of 100,000 APR. That's what you're going to get for that year after year, as long as you leave your money in there. Now, most people, of course, we recommend we let that compound over and over again and let it get larger and larger, but you can withdraw any quarter, right? At any point in time you want. This money's not locked in. It's sitting in an FDIC insured account for $250,000. If you're not familiar with FDIC, if something goes crazy with that bank, then you're gonna get your $250,000 back. So if you do, let's say you use somebody that has higher funds and you want to do $1 million, well, they're going to put it in 4 FDIC insured accounts to make sure that you're fully covered. And the greatest thing about this as well is this is not just some product that's some fly by night just coming out of nowhere. These products, so if you're watching this video, depending on when you're watching it, these products are products that are going to be offered to Chase, to Wells Fargo, to Navy Federal Credit Union. These banks are going to be carrying these products very, very soon within the next year, and you have the ability to capitalize off of them first. So these are not products, right, that are just something that somebody just made up. These are products, and they're being put together in a way that is so legitimate that 3 banks so far are looking to carry this product by the close of 2020, by 2021. So listen, I'm not going to ramble on and on. If you want more information about this basically high APR account that you can have access to, once you make your deposit, you'll start earning right away. Then what you need to do is click on the link down below to get more information. You're going to enter in your email address. From there, it's going to take you to a video where you're going to basically be able to learn more about what's going on with these high APR accounts. You're going to be able to watch it's about a little less than 60-minute video to where my buddy Arnold, he's going to go over the A to Z of what this is all about, how it works, how we get that high APR. He's going to explain that. And then it's after you take a look at that, you can take a look at the rest of the page, take a look at some of the products that we have, in addition to click on the button, which will take you to a form that I need you to fill out so I can learn a little bit about you and what you want to do, how much money you have to put in, right? How serious you are, how soon you want to move to start earning this high APR. And then from there, that form is going to take you to a Zoom, an appointment request where you're going to set an appointment when you're available. We're going to do a 15 to 30-minute Zoom so I can kind of get a face-to-face with you. And then we're going to, at that point in time, set a game plan to move forward. And then, from there, also, once you set the appointment, you'll get an email that allows you to go on my site and see the transparency of what we're doing to earn this high APR, the legitimacy of what we're doing, some of the companies we're working with, and just truly give you that warm and fuzzy that you're in the right place at the right time and you're about to make a ton of money with what we have and go from there. So your next step is click on the link down below. You're going to put your email address in. It's going to take you to that next page. Watch that 60-minute video, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and click to fill out the form, right? And then once you fill out the form, it'll take you to the Calendly where you can set an appointment with me where we'll jump on a Zoom and we'll get to know each other. I'll get to know what your goals are, and then we'll get you moving forward from there. So this is Alfonso Jones. I'm so excited that you're taking a look at this. Look, we're coming just under 15 minutes. That was a lot of information to get in just 15 minutes, but guess what? You're about to get a wealth more of knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, here's what I'll tell you. Banks, we beat the bank's APR hands down, right? And what people don't understand is that when your money goes into the bank, that money is immediately put to work in ways of loans, credit cards, right? Securing credit cards, trading in the foreign exchange and stock markets, and other ways that the banks put your money to work. And they're giving you, most banks earn hundreds of percentage on your money, and then they give you a small percentage of 1%, 2%, 5%, right? They're super generous for that hundreds of percent gain that they're getting. So why are you not getting at least 10, 20, 30% of your money when they're using your money to get their gains? It's what banks do, ladies and gentlemen. In case you didn't know, I just taught you something new. Your money is not just sitting in your savings account. Your money is not just sitting in your checking account. Your money is being put to work, right? As soon as you make that deposit. And now that you understand how banks use money to get wealthy, right? Make billions upon billions of dollars. Now you need to use the same methods, right? And you'll learn a lot more about that in the videos to earn high APR, 20 to 30%, right? Have your account compound monthly and truly understand how you can build a very sustainable model for reaching wealth for you and your family. Now, obviously, if you're a little bit older, it's not going to happen as fast because obviously you're a little bit at the end of your time to be able to really grow your money. But if you're somebody that's in their 20s and 30s and even 40s, the time is now. Get the return that you deserve and get it now. The first step is to go to the link down below. So this is Alfonso Jones. I hope you learned something today, even if you don't move forward. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you take steps to make sure not only that you're understanding it's not how much you make, but how much you keep, but you're also understanding it's not about only how much you keep, but how much you make with what you keep, where you put it. How is it making you money? Are you making sure that you're not paying crazy fees with your crazy return? So if you understand that, hey, I won today, but click on the link down below, put in your email address. Make sure you put in a legitimate email address because if not, you'll get locked up on the next page. But put in a legitimate email address, and then I will see you on the other side on our Zoom. Take care. God bless.